Well, aside, I haven't forgot about our AHL team, the Stockton Heat, and their playoff run. I did make that video saying a lot of things has happened, why my content's been delayed. Anyway, let's finally start playing catch up with another video with. Yeah, hi there, it's Brett Hornby here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and let's finally cap off Stockton Heat Quick Hits and their playoff run. As you recall, they were in the fourth round, the semifinals in the Calder Cup Playoffs in the Western Conference Final. I did preview the series that they had with the Chicago Wolves, best of 7 series, but now it's finally time to recap it. As I mentioned in the opening, a lot has definitely gone on the last couple months, which is why I haven't been making as many videos, but I'm starting to play catch up right now. So speaking of that, if you want to follow along with this Calgary sports fans journey, home the Flames, Hitmen, Roughnecks, Stampeders, as well as the Cavalry SC, just make sure you hit like, subscribe, and I have my other social media links down in the description below. But let's recap and remember the run that the Stockton Heat had in the 2022 Calder Cup Playoffs, and ultimately it will be their last run, because I'll make a video in the future talking about the fact that the Stockton Heat will be moving closer to home and what they're going to be called for the 2022-23 season. But the start of the Calder Cup Playoffs, they did win the Pacific Division, so they had a bye going in the next round, so they didn't need to go in a play-in series, best of 3. And if you go back to the first videos in the playlist, I kind of run over the playoff format. The 23 teams make the playoffs in the Calder Cup Playoffs, but ultimately the first round or the second round, the Stockton Heat took on the Bakersfield Condors, which is the Edmonton Oilers affiliate. Then they were able to beat them, and then they took on the Colorado Eagles in the third round, and they were able to beat them as well, as it was 3-0 for the Bakersfield Condors, the Edmonton Oilers affiliate. They needed 4 games to beat the Colorado Eagles, the Colorado Avalanche affiliate. But now the Stockton Heat, they were taking on the Chicago Wolves, who were the top team in the league. So the Stockton Heat start off the road, but this is a best of 7 series. But the one thing that might have played a role in the series is the fact it was scheduled as a 2-3-2. Meaning the first 2 games were on the road for Stockton, then they had 3 games at home, and then they had 2 more on the road for the best of 7. But these were the top 2 teams in the American Hockey League for this past season, as Chicago was first in the Central, while Stockton was first in the Pacific. So let's recap the series. Well, Game 1, this was back on Friday, June 3rd, as the Stockton Heat were on the road taking on the Chicago Wolves. And in the first game, ultimately, and as you mentioned, the Chicago Wolves are the Carolina Hurricanes affiliate. The Chicago Wolves won Game 1 5-4 in overtime, as that game was at the Allstate Arena, 6 p.m. puck drop. The goal scorers for the Stockton Heat was Ito Taloa, Walker Duer, Luke Philp, and Connor Zary, as well as Connor Mackey and Andy Winowski. Each had 2 assists. Dustin Wolf made 35 saves for Stockton in the loss. It was Jamison Rees who did score the winner in overtime for Chicago at 2:26 of the first period. And ultimately, Chicago, they outshot the Stockton Heat 40-28, and Chicago had a 2-1 shot edge in overtime. So Chicago drew first blood in these best of 7 series, and this one will be first to 4 wins instead of first to 3 in the best of 5. And the whole time the Stockton Heat were in the American Hockey League, this is the first time they actually were playing the Chicago Wolves. So after Game 1, Chicago has a 1-0 series lead. So game 2, this happened on Monday, June 6th, as it was still at the All-State Arena, 6 p.m. puck drop. The Chicago Wolves, actually, they took this one 3-2 and a 2-0 series lead. The goal scorers for Stockton was Justin Kirkland and Matthew Phillips, who each had a goal. This game actually looked like it was about to go to overtime for the second straight game. However, Josh Levo, former Calgary Flame, Vancouver Canuck, he did sign with the Carolina Hurricanes, although he did play in the Chicago Wolves. He scored at 19:42 of the third period to make it 3-2, so Chicago, with a late goal, takes a 2-0 series lead, and Dustin Wolf made 18 saves in this game, as Stockton actually outshot Chicago 35-21. So now Chicago has a 2-0 series lead. Now this series shifts to Stockton. So game 3, this happened on Wednesday, June 8th. Did the Stockton Heat respond, being at home now? Well, unfortunately, it was the Chicago Wolves who won this one 3-0. This was a 7:30 puck drop at the Stockton Arena. Dustin Wolf made 27 saves in the loss, and Chicago outshot Stockton 30-23. So Chicago, they now have a 3-0 lead, looking like they're on the way to sweep the Heat and go to the Calder Cup Finals. However, things started to get interesting, and I'm going to say a big part of it is the fact the Stockton Heat had a couple more home games. So game 4, this happened on Friday, June 10th, as the Stockton Heat were looking to stave off elimination to extend the series. This was an 8 p.m. puck drop at the Stockton Arena. And actually the Stockton Heat, they were able to stave off elimination as they defeated the Chicago Bulls 4-3 in overtime. Actually, it looked like Chicago was going to win this one in 4 straight, as actually Stockton came back from being down 3-1. This was still with 5 minutes to go in the third period. I should mention that Glenn Godwin, he was definitely clutching this game, as he scored 2 goals in this game. He scored at 19:11 of the third period to tie the game up, and he also scored at 6:43 in overtime to get the win. I also mentioned Justin Kirkland had a goal and assist, as well as Martin Pospisil had a goal, and Yusuf Alamaki had 2 assists in this one in the 4-3 overtime win for Stockton. And Dustin Wolf made 31 saves. Stockton outshot the Chicago Bulls 38-34 and 3-1 in overtime. So yes, the Stockton Heat was able to stave off elimination, but they were still down 3-1 in the series, so they still had a big hole to climb out of, but at least we needed a game 5. Well, in game 5, this happened on Saturday, June 11th. This was a 7 p.m. puck drop at Stockton Arena. Did the Stockton Heat take advantage of home ice yet again? Well, guess what? For the second straight game, not only the Stockton Heat was able to stave off elimination, they had to do it in overtime. This time, the Stockton Heat won this one 3-2 in overtime. It was Connor Mackey who was the hero for this game. He had a goal and assist as he scored the overtime winner at 14:27. Walker Durer and Jacob Pelche also each had a goal. Byron Freese had 2 assists. Dustin Wolf made 37 saves in the win, but Chicago actually outshot Stockton 39-35 and 8-7 in overtime. But with 2 straight overtime wins, the Stockton Heat are now back in the series. Still 3-2 for Chicago, with the next 2 games scheduled to be back in Chicago. So, will the Stockton Heat at least get 1 on the road or 2 on the road? Well, game 6, this happened on Tuesday, June 14th, with the series back in Chicago. This was a 6 p.m. puck drop at the All-State Arena, and unfortunately, this is the last game of the season and series and all time for the Stockton Heat, as they were shut out 3-0 in this one. It was, all the scoring actually happened in the third period, so it was a 0-0 game going in the third period. Ultimately, Chicago proved to be the better team. Dustin Wolf made 35 saves, and Chicago outshot Stockton 38-28. So ultimately, the Chicago Wolves, they won this series 4-2 and advanced to the Calder Cup Final. The other series had the Springfield Thunderbirds, who are the St. Louis Blues affiliate, and they were taking on the Laval Rocket, who were the Montreal Canadiens affiliate. Springfield actually won that series in the Eastern Final in 4-3. So the final had the Chicago Wolves taking on the Springfield Thunderbirds, and ultimately the Stockton Heat eventually lost to the Calder Cup champions in 4-1. So that is the Stockton Heat Quick Hits for recapping the fourth round, the Western Conference Final, as the two best teams came at it, and ultimately the best team won. But the Stockton Heat was able to make it interesting. At least not get swept. But ultimately lost this one in 6. It was they lost one in overtime. They lost one with a goal in the last minute, and then they were shut out in 2 games. So it was really 2 games that they were really out of it, but it could have been anyone's series outside those 2 games. That's how I look at it. But yeah, this is it for the Stockton Heat in the American Hockey League. So I'm thinking if I still do game recaps next season, I might do a quick hits when I recap the Calgary Flames with they're going to be called the Calgary Wranglers, as that's who the Stockton Heat will now be called. So it was just the other day that they announced that the Stockton Heat franchise will be called the Calgary Wranglers. I'll make a separate video going more in depth about it and maybe show some logos and what jerseys will look like. But the Stockton Heat are no more in Stockton, California, which this is too bad. It was their best season in franchise history since they've been in Stockton since 2015. They only made the playoffs twice in that span, and although the big reason why Stockton went to move elsewhere is because they had one of the lowest attendance in the American Hockey League. So I think with the Stockton Heat, now Calgary Wranglers playing here, now we get the benefit of calling up and sending players down right here. But I think they'll definitely get a lot more attendance. There's just more hockey to choose from. So that's all I have for Stockton Heat Quick Hits. I might throw that in with Calgary Flames game recaps next season. But in the meantime, I am still playing catch up with videos. So that's all I have for the Stockton Heat Quick Hits. So to close out, as I say, if you want to follow along with this Calgary sports fan's journey, along with the Flames, Hitmen, Roughnecks, and Stampeders, just as well as the Cavalry Sea, just make sure you hit like, subscribe, as I mostly do talk Calgary sports on my YouTube channel, and I also do already non-sports content when I have time, like personal vlogs. Attempt to call me, I also do share my experience when I'm on the road or a sporting event, and do have some vlog and go on my channel. So if that all sounds like it'd be interesting to watch, to follow along with this Calgary sports fan's journey, you know what you do, just make sure you hit like, subscribe. I also have my other social links down in the description below for other ways to follow me. Of course, I have my second channel on Brett Hornby Shorts, where I exclusively put my short form content on there. So I appreciate like, subscribe both here on my main channel as well as my second channel. So yeah, close out another hockey season for the Stockton Heat, and I'm going to say, now that they're going to be moving up here to Calgary to be the Calgary Wranglers, they're definitely just like the Calgary Flames, that I'll make separate videos on. There's definitely going to be some turnover on rosters. So I just want to say thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.